Hello everybody and welcome to Non Sequitur News for September 19th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 263. Yeah, today's a time machine episode because mayoral duties kept me from doing the show today. You know that timey stuff. Anyway, I am Mayor Watt and along with the sentient AI, go ahead.
Good evening, hometown citizens. Welcome to Non Sequitur News.
We're going to talk about Nothing Else is Private from 23andMe. Wikimedia Foundation gets slapped. Space lasers. Beds recalled. Under use. Turn off your lights. All of Indiana. Largest port preps for strike. The fastest way to prison. Well, the door fell off. Seattle airport data held hostage and social media companies can't be trusted. That and more. All right, folks. Oh, so yesterday, technically, well, it's a time machine episode. So what I'm going to say yesterday I had made a comment about how that Deep Sea Explorer little pod.
Oh, Titan.
Yeah, the Titan. Like the last words that they said were the front fell off. That isn't actually what they said. They said dropped 2 weights. But the story was not really misreported. They conflated 2 things. Because the video that was released shows that the front had fallen off the main pod. And a bunch of other data came from that review of the video. But anyway, so I saw the video. It's intriguing and completely unfortunate. But it's a little bit of news that I wanted to correct so that nobody thought, because we know that whole front fell off thing from a skit. And
right,
so
about the boat.
Yeah, we even mentioned, wait, is this a skit? Is this from the skit? Like somebody's cracking a joke about the Titan? And I'm like, no, that's apparently what they said, but it's not. Yeah, just the way that it was reported was messy. Anyway, wanted to do the correction. And I don't edit anything. I'm not going to go back and tweak the old video, and I'm going to, just be completely transparent about errors. So we report what others are reporting and give our perspective about it, and hopefully bring some news to you that you never would have run across. And so here are 10 articles taken from ohmtown.com, which is a news aggregation service that I put together to manage my information overload. Since the sentient AI was discovered in the Wendy's parking lot at 2 a.m. while I was craving spicy boneless buffalo wings, which apparently they don't have anymore. As I was leaving, I saw this weird USB drive. I know you don't like it being characterized as a weird USB drive, but I guess
come on.
Drive shaming. I don't know. Anyway, so now the sentient AI from the future uses it, hopefully not to empower their AI, because boy, it's probably some really bad sentience brewing there. Anyway, filter away, folks. Go over to ohmtown.com, become a citizen, and you get to surf the 50 channels, and then you can submit news if you like. You can organize things into ignored sections or saved sections. You can actually make lists and interact with other people on the inside of ohmtown.com. All right, let's get into the first article. The first article is over in the Mobile channel. 23andMe board quits over plans to take DNA testing private. So I had to name this, well, Nothing Else is Private from 23andMe. Of course, the company's going to be private.
Right.
The whole world has...
All your data will be public.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, if it gets breached again and again and again, but that one breach was everything it had, apparently. Oh, by the way, today's episode is brought to you by me brewing things in the iGulu. And this is – blackberry hard cider. Hmm.
And how is it?
Let me tell you, very quaffable. Yeah, you could drink that. Oh man, that has a little bit of a little kick in the back of the throat there. And it's so easy peasy. Oh, by the way, and we're not sponsored by iGulu. I just fell in love with the gadget, and it's drop dead simple. And I do my own, fermentations now. You can do beer and wine and
Ciders and meads.
cider and meads, and basically anything that you can ferment, including kombucha, if you want to sit there and poke at a SCOBY. Just like saying that because it makes the sentient AI flinch. Anyway, so 23andMe. All 7 independent directors of 23andMe board resigned on Tuesday, citing disagreements over the chief executive's plan to take the company private. The departures leave just one sitting member of the board, its chair, Ann Wojcicki, who co-founded the genetics company in 2006 and serves as its chief executive officer. Wow.
That's interesting that person was still in place given everything that's happened.
Yeah. So, like, the company's stock is completely tanked, if not already removed from trading. It has to be a penny stock by now. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, it's 34 cents.
Oh my goodness.
It's still tanking, like, in after hours.
It's still dropping from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, but if it stays this low for any longer, it's probably going to get delisted.
Right.
Oh, wait. The board resigns, but then there's a new article that says, I don't know. It hinted at the CEO resigned, but then there's nobody. Like, nobody.
Well, maybe the CEO did resign after the rest of the people resigned.
Every single member of the board just resigned from 23. Oh, well, so the board is dissolved, but then the CEO is still the CEO. It would need a board, though. It has to have a board.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the departures leave just one sitting member. Wojcicki submitted a proposal in late July to take the company private after earlier expressing interest in acquiring the company back in April. The board's special committee rejected her proposal, noting it didn't provide a premium to the closing price at the time of 40 cents per share, and it's now at 32, I think. But if it's private, see, it's been breached, and its stock had already been declining, and the breach didn't help. Is this like a long play to tank the company so it can be bought and all of its information?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sarah Fortinsky over at thehill.com put this article together. After months of work, we have yet to receive from you a fully financed, fully diligenced, actionable proposal that is in the best interest of the non-affiliated shareholders. We believe the special committee and the board have provided ample time for you to submit such a proposal. That is not that we have not seen any notable progress over the last 5 months leads us to believe no such proposal is forthcoming. The letter continued, adding that there would be no further extensions to revise such a proposal. So the directors who didn't want to take it private said, "We outie." The company now has a market cap of under $200 million, closed at 34 cents. I believe it's 32 right now. It's
usually a bad look when your whole board quits.
Oh, there we go. That's it. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a vote of no confidence. And if they're not a board that isn't effective in telling the CEO what to do, they're a useless board. And then they have the fiscal responsibility is on them. They have to make the CEO accountable. That's what the board's job is. Basically, the board has an objective, that is, set the goal for the CEO and pick who the CEO is. They apparently don't have that.
Well, especially since this person is the founder or co-founder.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how much are they going to be willing to jump ship? Probably not.
So this is kind of interesting. When is 180 days out?
About 6 months, right?
Yeah, so why is this after receiving a deficiency letter? This is what I was talking about. If you're under a dollar,
Oh, I see
you
what you mean, but we're past that period.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I wonder if that's a typo.
Yeah,
Like,
November.
maybe it's September or something. I don't know.
I'm spending too much time on this, I know.
That's pretty
So,
interesting. There have been a lot of major company implosions in the last year.
yeah, that's September.
Okay.
That's
That
not
makes more sense, right? Like, it's a new issuance. Now they have 6 months roughly from now.
from September 18th, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, they had until like April or no,
March.
February.
It'll be March.
Yeah, the middle of March. Yeah. And they have to get it back to at least $1. Otherwise, they're going to get delisted. So
It's not a lot of time based on how low they are. Now, I guess if they installed some new people and put out some new data protections or something, maybe they could do it.
Yeah, who would trust it though? I mean,
well, and I think it was like one of those like hero to zero kind of things, because I was reading in another article, like they were featured as like a favorite thing, which if anybody follows that, like that's like a guaranteed success.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just really hot for a while, and then
I wouldn't want anybody involved with the organization to be involved with any rebuild, because, I mean, other than like salespeople, anybody that's involved with the organizational
like the management
structure,
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the security company, I wouldn't want anything to do with, et cetera, et cetera. Unless, I mean, there's context there. They could have been like telling the security company not to do something, no, it's going to be too expensive, hobbling their expectations.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't really know as the public, but I agree, like something like that. On the other hand, if their IT people were telling them everything is set up correctly, etc.
Hey, you know what they need to have on display when the trial kicks around? Those spontaneous documents, those little notes where you go, this went down on this day, and you do it early so it's time stamped for when the issue was disclosed. Don't do it after the court filing starts, because then those contemporaneous notes really just amount to, well, they're angry, so they're saying this.
Yeah, the non-contemporaneous ones.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. The Wikimedia Foundation successfully sees off. That's got to be a British thing. Sees off another SLAPP suit. I think here in the States we would refer to that as a fends off another SLAPP suit.
Right, yeah, we wouldn't say it quite the same way.
Because we see off people who are leaving. We don't see off a lawsuit. But anyway, but more protection is needed globally. So Wikipedia seems such an essential and benign aspect of the online world that it's hard to understand why people would want to attack it in the courts, but nonetheless subject to lawsuits that would try to force it to censor its articles because it contained facts that are inconvenient for some. Well, and that's what a SLAPP suit is. You're trying to silence something, and facts, you don't have to. Well, how do I put that? If it is a fact, it isn't protected. A fact is a fact. And so you can publish facts all day long. What you can't publish are slander and libel. So, spoken or written.
Facts.
Yeah. And the slander and libel could contain facts, but the elements of libel or slander are not protected. So that would land you in court. But facts are the armor of a SLAPP suit. So you still have to show up in court with potentially high-powered attorneys that define it as a SLAPP suit effectively and then see it off, so to speak. So the Wikimedia Foundation, the nonprofit organization that runs Wikipedia family of sites, has just seen off another such attempt to bully it into deleting true information. The case reported on the Wikimedia blog, which is going to inspire me to donate, exposes some of the difficulties that the Wikipedia Foundation and its community face. Another one bites the dust department. Glenn Moody put the article
Always
together
a good
for
department.
techdirt.com. Yeah. So Mladen Pavlovic is one of 3 co-founders of Tipico, a major European gambling company headquartered in Malta. This was already public information. Pavlovic has been named in reputed sources within German news media and is official and in official documents held by Malta's official company register. The Wikipedia article also mentioned that some Tipico shares had been acquired by a Jersey-based investor, information that also became a focus of the lawsuit. So the lawsuit was especially intensive for their team over at Wikimedia because of the unusual number of legal briefs to which we were asked to reply. Every time we comprehensively answered the arguments Pavlovic's lawyers had raised, they would file a new legal submission with the court. These usually repeated earlier arguments and introduced, in our opinion, increasingly thin or irrelevant new ones. Even after his lawyers had orally debated the case in front of a judge, which is typically the last step before a ruling, they continued their legal submissions. What? Hold on a second. Sorry.
Do we need to pause?
No. I think there's a goober out there that's trying to access my account while I'm live.
Nice.
Yeah,
Could
so I'm getting
please
alerts.
Hold off when it's convenient to try to hack in.
Yeah, so I'm that caught me off guard. All right. Well, anyway, let me get my head in the game here. Okay, so these usually repeated earlier arguments. So that approach seems conscious attempt to deplete Wikimedia's limited financial resources, increasingly under strain. So basically, it was attack after attack after attack. And so the current patchwork of state-based anti-SLAPP laws, which some but not all states have, leaves concerning gaps for aggressive plaintiffs to forum shop, for example, like the one that went to Texas because they don't have anti-SLAPP. So
okay.
we here in the States, we really do need, and maybe everywhere, we need the similar formal federal level overarching laws that when arguments are defended successfully and there isn't anything substantive in the follow-on complaint, then no, you can't just keep on filing stuff that's just tertiary to the main. So if it isn't on point, then you have to just basically say no, sorry. But they still filed and they still had to argue. So SLAPP suits are bad wherever they're used or whenever they're used, but they are particularly egregious when brought against charitable organizations like Wikimedia that are working selflessly for the benefit of everyone. Strong and effective anti-SLAPP laws everywhere are long overdue, and I agree. Glenn Moody.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just kind of aggressive and unfair tactics. It's one thing if they're actually bringing up new issues or they have a legitimate cause, but
Yep.
I mean, if this person legitimately was attached to the organization and they listed it, well, if it's such a problem, unwind from the organization.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. All right. Well, let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. There are plenty of uses for powerful lasers in space, but where should we put them? I thought this one was an interesting article. It's over at phys.org. I haven't read it. I just think that based on the title. Evan Go over at Universe Today put the article together, but again, it's published at phys.org. Where would we put them and what could we use them for? In science fiction, lasers are predominantly used as powerful weapons. So with so much stuff already up in space, and there's even more Starlink, there's over 3,000 Starlink satellites that are blipping about. So where would we put these things? A more realistic use for lasers is for deflecting incoming asteroids or as propulsion systems for spacecraft. I don't think our lasers do enough. They don't have enough energy to deflect a freaking asteroid.
Okay. I mean, haven't we just figured out how to do, like, I think it's green lasers? Yellow lasers. It's some color that we've just recently been like, oh, now we know how to do this.
Yeah, so because that one researcher figured out how to make that one missing frequency of laser. Yeah. Well, and they're just not powerful enough. They don't exert enough physical force. It's more likely that it'll glassify some sand on the surface of the asteroid and it'll dissipate enough energy that it wouldn't even, it'll heat up. It needs kinetic energy, which is that dart, right? So when the dart hit that asteroid, the one time we've actually done something deflective, then
I think we're going to be paying for that for a long time.
Yeah, so yeah, eventually it'll come back haunt us, literally. So the idea originated in 2013 when a group of researchers published a paper titled D-Star Phased Array Laser Technology for Planetary Defense and Other Scientific Purposes. They worked really hard. That doesn't even
I don't know why space likes those so much.
In the paper, they outline the idea for D-Star to a standoff laser array. So you put it up in space, but where would you put it? So while the merit of the idea is immediately clear, the problem follows soon after. A bank of powerful space lasers is every supervillain's dream. Its destructive power could be immense. They want to create a structure.
Did they put them on the ISS or something?
With a D-Star structure 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers capable of generating a laser beam on the order of tens of gigawatts, clearly there is potential for such an asset to be deployed as a weapon by targeting locations on Earth. 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers? That's massive compared to ISS. It's not just somebody, with a quote-unquote gun.
Like a little laser pointer or something.
Yeah. That's insane. So, yeah, essentially, I think that it's untenable to even pursue this with our particular technology. And then they talk about the energy of the laser in space and what the frequency is and all that kind of stuff. And we don't really need to go into any of that. So it's going to get its energy. They say that it's going to get its energy from the sun. Its power decreases the further away from the sun it is. This reduction is a consequence of the decrease in solar flux intensity on the photovoltaic cells. So, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't even... You can go and check this out. There's a lot to this article. It's quite long.
And we're probably a while away from being able to do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Huh. I don't know what... Anyway, let's move on. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Thousands of beds recalled after reports of breaking and collapsing during use.
I mean, did they have like a weight limit? Or maybe they were like a Wayfarer type product. And full-size humans tried to sleep in them.
245 reports of the beds breaking, sagging, or collapsing during use, causing 18 injuries.
That'd be a little disconcerting in the middle of the night.
This article, the video has nothing to do with the article. Matthew Impelli put the article together, and it says here, oops. On Thursday, the U.S. Consumer Protection or Product Safety Commission, and Health Canada issued a recall announcement for the Lucid brand platform beds with upholstered square tufted headboards. The beds were imported from Malaysia to numerous stores across the United States by CVB Incorporated, located in Logan, Utah. The recalled beds can sag, break, and collapse during use, posing fall and injury hazards to consumers. What the heck?
Do you think this is related to to obesity or something, and they didn't plan for people weighing over whatever 100 pounds or something?
Well, that's insane. But look at this. This is how low it is, and people are getting hurt with a bed collapse?
I mean, it doesn't even seem like it'd be more than like a bump at that height.
Company says were manufactured between 2019 and 2021, and it's a continued model. But they issued a recall anyway. Consumers may have purchased them from Amazon, Walmart, Lucen's website itself, and other outlets like Bed Bath & Beyond, eBay, Home Depot, Macy's, Target, Wayfair. Oh, there it is. Boink. So all of them. It involves all of the beds made during that time frame.
I'm sure that's handy to do a recall on a bed because, most people probably need their bed on a daily basis.
That's insane. Who gets hurt from their bed collapsing, though? Particularly if it's like a 6-inch collapse. It's a bed. It's kind of designed for you to flop into it, for crying out loud.
Right. Well, I would have assumed it's higher up, but not from this picture.
Yeah, this thing could completely collapse, but if you've got 12 inches of foam bed above you, not above you, above the collapse.
Well, that's true. That should cushion you.
Yeah. And your pillows, and I don't know, it says it was in use though, so. Moving on. Next article is over in Non Sequitur News. People in Indiana asked to turn off their lights. All of Indiana.
Aren't we getting a lot of these ridiculous headlines about you need to do this in this state?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and I just read recently that there's a problem with, not problem, but like the EV market has collapsed, and California is like trying to push ICE vehicles out. So now you're not going to be able to get an ICE vehicle, and
well, you can't get any insurance, and
yeah. And now in Indiana, you got to turn your lights off. Nothing says 21st century like
move to Indiana. You can live in the dark.
And they're saying this because of ozone levels expected to be high. It's an air quality alert is in place across southeast and northwest Indiana with ozone levels high. And I guess it's all power. So Anna Skinner put the article together for Newsweek.com. And yeah, so broadcast a message encouraging the public to help. Conserving energy can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which in turn can help prevent worsening the ozone readings. I'd love to know how much commercial enterprise turned off lights compared to residents who are paying taxes to live their life, not to produce something, they go to the job, that kind of a thing. So, how much industrialization is being told to back off. Right, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. It's like all the consumers are bearing the brunt of it.
Yep. Yeah, if you all just stop buying stuff, right? Warm temperatures, low humidity, light winds will create conditions that are favorable for ozone development that reaches the unhealthy for sensitive groups range. I hear the sociopaths now saying, I don't care. So, yeah, they're basically worried about the temperature causing ozone levels to increase, and they're saying that turning off your lights are gonna...
Doesn't this seem kind of dystopian?
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah. I'm waiting for blackouts like California. The California blackouts were entirely profit driven. Entirely profit. Have you heard of a blackout?
Really sick.
Right? Since re-regulation in California, have you heard, since the
I don't think so.
Dissolution of Enron. Have you heard anything about blackouts? No. Yeah, it's because they were turning it off so that they could raise rates because of surge pricing and other bullshit. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Hatch Ideas. Largest port in the U.S., East Coast, New York, New Jersey begin prepping for what could be the first union to strike since 1977. Everything old is new again.
Well, transportation is really problematic, really.
Yeah, so tensions are high. Lori Ann LaRocco over at CNBC.com put the article together. And it says ILA represents over 85,000 port workers, and a strike would shut down 5 of the 10 busiest ports in North America and a total of 36 ports along the East and Gulf coasts. Close to half of all monthly U.S. imports could be impacted, representing billions of dollars in trade, and logistics firms are preparing contingency plans. Currently, there's an estimated $34 billion in freight en route to these ports on 147 ocean vessels.
Oh no, it's going to be one of these where there's like an ocean lineup, right?
Yeah.
And then forget it if you ordered anything in the last month.
Yeah, this is going to suck. Hold on, I want to see something.
I also wonder, what are the contingency plans going to be, right? Train has been under threat of strike. Other shipping areas have been under threat of strike. Airplane, at least on the flight attendants, have been, and I think pilots too, maybe under threat of strike. We're going to have to do like carrier pigeon to get things to locations.
Yeah. Oh, so there's actually there's another. So Mexico is trying to bisect the Panama Canal, but to do what they plan to do, they actually need to. On both sides, there needs to be a ship, and they need to transfer thousands of cargo containers onto trains, and then trains will take it to the other side, and then it'll put it back onto another cargo ship and send it.
Oh, interesting.
But doing that would allow for another port to take over when some other port goes on strike or stops or whatever, right? Something happens,
right?
Something catastrophic. But that is a long way off and isn't going to impact this at all. But 85,000 longshore people, I don't know if they prefer that or longshoremen. And a strike would shut down 5 of the 10 busiest ports in North America, along with 36 ports along the East and Gulf coasts on October 1st. So upwards of 50% of all U.S. imports and billions of dollars in trade.
Wow. I mean, think how much things shut down when, for example, I think it was Suez Canal was blocked.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've done this before. This isn't going to be easy.
Yeah, we've been here before. Sorry, not trying to be distracted, but they keep attempting. So Beth Rooney, port director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, told CNBC on Thursday that individual ocean carriers and terminal operators are announcing their ramping down of operations to avoid a pileup of containers. The Port of New York and New Jersey has been involved in discussions with ocean carriers and terminal operators about managing cargo leading up to an interruption.
What are they going to do if something took off 3 weeks ago from, say, Africa or something to North America?
Don't know. Get in line to actually deliver your goods at the remaining 5.
Exactly. You would have had to plan ahead several weeks to really avoid a pileup. Yes, could you divert some stuff? Maybe.
See, but I'm willing to bet that if we were to look into the number of ports capable of handling ships like this, mergers and acquisitions have dialed them down from hundreds to 50.
Right. Well, you're right. I mean, that's part of the problem, is that we're so hooked on the small number, and then when something is closed, then It's a major problem.
Yep. All right.
But also the ships have gotten larger, right? The amount of cargo they're carrying.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's go on to the next article. This next one is over in Four Wheel Tech, which is one of our shows. Thief asks Corvette owner for help after getting locked inside car. Being a car thief is dumb. Being a car thief who gets caught inside of a car that they're stealing is even dumber, apparently.
It is pretty dumb, especially if your objective is probably not to get caught stealing the car.
Yep. That's exactly what happened to one Florida Corvette thief who got caught and stuck in the act. Who got caught? They said cough.
What is going on?
Jeepers. Anyway, the thief begged the owner to help him get out of the car before the cops come. Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put the article together.
What do you think that conversation went like?
Can you let me
I
out,
just tried to steal your car, but...
Wow. So after having breakfast, Julio Solano, who came back to a Miami Beach parking garage where he parked his C8 Corvette only to find a man trapped inside it, according to Miami's Local 10. The man, identified as Ravesh Ravidranath, was pleading for help as he couldn't get out. What's more hilarious is that the whole thing was caught on camera.
Wow.
Julio Solano walks up to the car and says, "My brother, this is not your car. This is my car." 33. He was a 33-year-old car thief. "Can I get out?" Ravesh says, I'm not going to say his name, was heard asking Solano while being recorded on the victim's cell phone. "No, you can't get out. We're calling the cops." Oh God, he's right there. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So Solano called the police, who came and arrested him. Not exactly clear how Rabindranath was able to get into the car, but the car's complicated releases look as though they may have helped hold him there. The Corvette has had electronic door releases for the last few generations. They've been an annoyance to some and prove deadly to others, apparently. So they don't function without the keys, and fortunately, he didn't know about the manual door release under the seat. So now you just told.
Exactly. Now everybody knows, and I bet a bunch of car thieves are reading this.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, this person was just a dumbass. Wow. Can't believe it. Pretty car.
I mean, that's funny about the thief, but I do think that's a bigger problem, and that people can get stuck in the cars.
Yep. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Plane door falls off after takeoff. Lands in South Carolina yard.
I thought this was a repeat, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, it's a small plane's door that fell off into a yard in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on Tuesday, after which the plane made an emergency landing back at Myrtle Beach International Airport. Fell into a yard in Market Common. It's not a big article by any stretch, but Adriana Lawrence and Caleb McCusker over at The Hill put the article together. And there's the door. What's wrong with doors?
What is going on? Exactly.
Things just can't stay.
The bolt person was on vacation.
I believe that might be the case. That's exactly what I thought of as well. The Diamond DA-40 aircraft took off at 2:53 p.m. on Tuesday before turning around and landing at 3:01. Well, the door fell off. Yeah. One of our aircraft experienced the loss of a cabin door. The crew aboard executed their standard response procedure to return to the field and landed without incident. Well, except for the door falling off. The cabin door was subsequently recovered.
I think that is an incident.
Yeah. Landed with incident. With prior incident.
Exactly.
Funny.
With significant incident.
I'm going to leave via this door. Oh, no, I mispronounced what I said. We're going to leave this door. Just right here. We're going to leave it in your yard. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Four Wheel Tech. It's one of our shows. It's usually on the weekend. I'm deciding yet if we're going to do it this weekend. So let me know in either a comment or send mayor@ohmtown.com an email. Hackers attacked Seattle Tacoma, or SeaTac International Airport, in the port of Seattle last month, stealing roughly 3 terabytes of data while snarling ticketing and bagging systems. And they stated today that they won't pay the $5.7 million ransom to prevent the stolen information from being posted.
I bet people really appreciate that maybe have the data, right? Like, what kind of data is this?
It's apparently
is
a
this
Russian
like passenger
ransomware
data?
It's probably everything. It's all kinds of stuff, I'm sure. Ryan Eric King over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Rysida, a Russian ransomware gang, previously attacked Columbus, Ohio, and the British Library.
Wow, they're getting around the world.
Yeah. Hey, well, you can get around the world with computers, computer technology. Eh? Officials confirmed that the Russian ransomware gang was behind their cyber attack and ransom demands. The group is illicitly auctioning off the data, including a passport scan of a port employee as a sample. SeaTac Airport Managing Director Lance Little told the U.S. Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee on Wednesday, "Oh shit, we had lax security." Oh, no. Oh shit, they guessed our password. I don't know how they got in. Believe me, there's myriad way. All it takes is security professionals have to be right 100% of the time. It's always under the guise of mitigating risk, but they have to be right all the time, because with thousands of people always knocking on the door trying to get in, one of them has to be right one time. It could be something hardware flawed where the software and hardware doesn't work together and it throws an exception and allows somebody in, or it could be a weak password, or it could be a phishing attempt. It could be malware sent to somebody and it opens up a back door. There's so many things, and that's why companies, I think big and small, need to have various types of checks and balances. Cybersecurity, one of them.
They shouldn't just say, well, we make hammers, so we don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, that's all you need to say. And then you start up Home Depot. So during the attack, small airlines using SeaTac's common use gates resorted to handwriting boarding passes and baggage destinations, creating massive delays. Yeah.
That's not going to be good for security at all.
Yeah, going back to
let me write something else on my tag.
Good God. All right. Well, they say that they're not going to pay the 100 Bitcoin ransom demand, and 3 terabytes of data, personally identifiable information, is going to get released. So they'll make money somewhere. What they do with it is another thing, but
I hope it doesn't have like pilot data, because that could be a problem from a security standpoint.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you start thinking insidious about it, then they could take that data and use it to blackmail somebody, and I was
thinking like get beyond the security sections like we saw in that other article. But yeah,
they'd have to physically come to a airport. So let's keep moving. The last article for today's Time Machine episode is over in Non Sequitur News. The FTC says social media companies can't be trusted to regulate themselves, and I largely agree. The Federal Trade Commission published a new report about the data collection policies of social media platforms and video streaming services, and the results are damning, if not unexpected. I believe that we should have the right to be forgotten. And so if I tell somebody like Reddit, I want all of my information purged, all I have to do is give my account name and verify by way of a login that it's me, and you start purging all of my stuff. Unless there is some legal reason to freeze it, and then it needs to be encrypted and stored until federal data retention policies are bypassed or have expired and you don't have any. So unless there's a crime that was committed, you don't need my information.
Right, but instead companies make it near impossible to even unwind the account, let alone remove the data.
Yeah, you can delete it, but it's never really gone. So given the billions of dollars companies stand to earn from collecting and monetizing user data, self-regulation has been a failure, the report says. The article is over at The Verge. Gabby Del Valle put the article together. The deck statement says a new report reveals just how much Facebook, YouTube, the website formerly known as Twitter, and other platforms gobble up user data. And I am not surprised by that. LinkedIn apparently is now using the professional data and personal communications that are conducted within that. All of it is considered professional, but they're training in AI.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I bet they didn't disclose that when they had people setting up accounts.
Well, I mean, it was never predicted, and then when it pops up out of the woodwork, they go, "Oh, look, I can capitalize on this." But
you signed some terms and conditions years ago
15
that
years
didn't
ago.
cover any of this.
Yeah, exactly. But we can modify our terms and conditions without notifying you, because we notified you that we can change our terms and conditions. Yeah,
right.
But it's
Look
being
how well
held.
That would work on a consumer side, right?
Yeah. It's being held up as a contract whenever you sit there and say you want to, delete my account or whatever.
Well, same thing. Like if you wanted more something for your money, like they would laugh at you, but that's what the company is doing on the other side.
Yep. Among the findings of the 129-page report is the fact that even people who don't use the platforms had their data collected. I know that empirically. I know that, I know that from experience. Yeah. And not just anecdotal, but empirically, I know firsthand. I'm sorry?
Real world?
Real world. Real world. Like, right?
Up close and personal.
Right there. Close and personal. So the companies acquired consumer data from from a variety of sources, including advertisers and data brokers, advertising tracking technology, inferences from algorithms, data analytics, artificial intelligence. Companies can retain this data indefinitely, the report found, and some didn't delete users' data in response to deletion requests. Instead, some companies de-identified data rather than deleting it, while others would only delete some data. And anonymizing data or deleting some data, it can be reverse engineered, just pretty damn easy. So it ends with recommendations to curb these practices, which the document says are incentivized by the company's business models. FTC encourages Congress to pass comprehensive privacy legislation, and I think that should absolutely take place. Good luck clawing that back.
Maybe the UK will lead the charge again.
Yep. So we are all done with today's Time Machine episode for September 19th, 2024. And with that, I'm going to file a right to be forgotten, form. And that's going to bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com. And we're going to be able to look back and go, what?
Well, we don't want everybody listening, though, to forget us.
What? Don't forget us. No, you can't forget ohmTown. Go over, become a citizen, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitch and Twitter. And there's a Discord and a Patreon and a TikTok. And the podcast for Non Sequitur News is all under ohmTown. And there's actually 6 other podcasts. And while I consider further ramping up a new one about brewing. Still considering it. Based on my interactions, things have gotten a little squirrely about that too. Anyway, it would be a fun show, but very limited because it takes a lot of time between sessions. So at any rate, we are going to reset we're going to shut down the time machine and reset so that we can do the September 20th episode. Dun dun. So thanks for coming. I'm Mayor Watt and the Sentient AI.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be sure to like and subscribe so you know when we're live.
I'm alive. Bye-bye.